It's interesting because as we're singing this, of course, I'm hearing the Christian lyrics. We are one in the Spirit, we are one in the Lord. We are one in the Spirit, we are one in the... And what is it? No, I don't know it now. And we pray that our unity may one day be restored. And I love that Heather's taken the song and said, you know what? Let's stop praying that one day this is going to happen. Because we are being called to live it now. We're being called to live this oneness now. And I think it's so... I had no idea walking in here today that that's what I was going to deal with. And I don't know if you noticed my quietness while you were doing it. It wasn't that I was thinking, oh, I don't like this at all. It was more, okay, I have to wrestle with my own heart here and realize that I am still... There are things that I still have come up where I say, I was not taught that correctly. And perhaps I wasn't. But you know what? I was taught what they knew to teach then. And that's why I stand here now knowing what there is to teach now, what there is to know now. Driving up here with Adam, one of the things we were talking about was, are we here to be spiritual instructors? Are we here to give credence, to give word, to give vision to a truth that will help people live their lives better? And Adam gave a great answer. He says, I think everybody is. And it's true. Everyone is doing that to one degree or another. You can look at people and go, I do not want to live that life. That's still a teacher. So having this song today, Heather, thank you for doing that, really has mobilized me in terms of what I wanted to talk about today. So the title of my talk is One Singular Sensation. Did you already put that up there? Yes, it was up there? Oh, good. One singular sensation. You did that like so effortlessly. I was like, whoa. So Thor just said, I am so good. So one singular sensation. So some of you may not know this, but I actually used to be a Broadway actor. Why is that a joke? So I talk about West Side Story all the time, but what I don't talk about is my year in a chorus line. So that is a picture from a chorus line, and the title, One Singular Sensation, is the finale of a chorus line, the song that's sung and danced. And when I was asked for a title, and I didn't have a title by Friday, I knew I was talking about oneness, but I didn't have a title. It just came to me, One Singular Sensation, and I was like, oh, really? Are we going to have to sing that? Am I going to have to go dance that? And then I said to Adam, let's go over that dance. We'll do the dance to it. But it wasn't what it was about. I do have a little story from it that helps illustrate what I'm talking about today. But one singular sensation. In the show, it's about so many things. But ultimately, it's about our leading lady, the star of the show, Cassie, that she is this amazing talent that knows how to fit into the whole. So that's the whole thing about the show. Now, there's a backwards side to this where, they're trying to get everybody to be at the same level. Don't anyone be an individual. Everybody needs to be the same. All the legs need to come to this, not that level, a little higher. All the legs need to come to the same level. And Cassie, who's the star of the show, she'd be like, I can't do it. She'd be like whopping her leg. I'm just like, Cassie, move your leg lower. Put your leg down. But it was about oneness. It had to have a singular look to it, a sensational single look. Do you know, if 10 people got up on the stage and everybody just went like this all at once, you'd be like, awesome. They're doing nothing. But they're doing it together. And if they're doing it together in oneness, all of a sudden it looks like something amazing. One singular. Now, if you look there, this guy on your right that you're looking at, he's a little different than the other two. Actually, they're all different because this is not the Broadway company. So it is the Broadway company? Oh, it's the revival. It's not the original, which I was in. That's the revival. They revised the history of it. So the point is, individuality does not mean sameness. It just means oneness. And oneness and sameness are not the same. We get to be individuals. We get to be unique. Jason is his own drink of water. Heather is her own visionary, the way she writes. I write my way. Adam writes his way. We all sing our own way. But yet, we're willing to come together in harmony as one. Notice in that last song, there was no harmony because A, we didn't have time to rehearse it. But B, by design, it should be one voice. So, one singular sensation. So oneness, I want to give you a definition. The state of being unified or whole, though being comprised of many parts. The state of being unified or whole, though being comprised of many parts. And then it goes on to say, a state of being joined as one thing and no longer separate. To me, that's the consciousness that we are looking to embody. Joined as one thing and no longer separate, because I believe we have spent way too long being separate. How funny to give this talk in the midst of isolation. But what better time to realize that you are not isolated. You are one thing in many parts. And in those parts, you get to be your own unique self. The entire ocean in a drop doesn't mean you suck the entire universe into you and everybody else falls dead. I've had somebody say that to me. Well, if you think you're God, then I guess everybody else is just nothing. I was like, no, that's not the point. If I know that I am the entire universe in a drop, I recognize that that just means I am one with as all of it. And I say with, and Jason has said with too, and yet with is my big argument. I can't be one with. How can I be one with? If I am one with, there must be something else. Don't tell me there's only one thing and then tell me I'm one with it. Because if I'm one with it, then I must be over here being one with it. So I'm not one with it, although we're going to have a hard time getting rid of that in our vernacular. Ernest Holmes, at the end of his life, right before he died, got it. He could have had a V8. Instead, he said one with it his whole life until right before he died, he said, I am not one with God. I am one of God. One of God. I love that idea. I am one of all of this. Not with it, although I still say with now and then. And at least it's a nice step up from I'm a lowly sinner where God's up here and I'm down here. One with it works fine to bring us into our journey. But let's move a little beyond it and realize I am one of it. So Eckhart Tolle said this. And what I'd like you to do right now is just take a deep breath wherever you are, wherever you're seated. Put down all of your stuff. Put down all of your problems. Put down all of your anger. Put down all of your anything that keeps you separate. Put down your day. Put down what you think you have to do. Put down what you've done in the past. Just put it all down for a moment and just listen to what Eckhart Tolle has to say. So take another deep breath. He says, in the stillness of your presence, you can feel your own formless and timeless reality as the unmanifested life that animates your physical form. He then says, you can feel the same life deep within every other human and every other creature. You look beyond the veil of form and separation. He says, this is the realization of oneness. And then he says, this and only this is love. So he's asking us to quiet our minds, get still, and drop into a place within ourselves where we actually remember who we are. But in that place, not only do I remember who I am, I remember who Heather is. I remember who Jason is. I remember who everyone on this planet is. And I remember that I am the planet, and I am the galaxy that the planet is in, and the many galaxies I've never heard of. All of it. We talk about having big lives. Big lives. And yet, what we're really here to do is realize that that big life lives in us. It's our job to express the bigness of that life. Not to create it out here, but to come from it. Swami Vivekananda said, all differences in this world are of degree and not of kind, because oneness is the secret to everything. So Swami Vivekananda got it right. Oneness is the secret to everything. When The Secret came along and did this huge number on planet Earth, we were kind of left, I wasn't, but a lot of the world was kind of left feeling disenchanted with what it had learned and not been able to put into practice. Because it's not that you can think your way into getting whatever you want. That's not it. It just isn't it. And when you try, you can't do it. Because you cannot think differently than you believe. And if you believe one thing, you can think all you want. The belief is going to create it. And belief even, now I'm starting to understand. Yes, my life unfolds based on my beliefs, but my belief is only there because I have the ability to believe it. I'm the believer. And I'm not even just the believer. I'm everything back of the believer that is bringing itself through the believer into the belief, into the thinking, into the manifestation. And that's what Vivekananda is saying here. Oneness is the real secret to everything. So when we talk about this idea of oneness, there are a lot of differences in the world, right? So I'm going to do the two parts of oneness because most of us think of oneness as being one with everything, yes? Right? We're one with everything. I'm one with the sky. I'm one with the earth. I'm one with the clouds. Oneness. I'm one with everything. But wait a minute. That's the outward manifestation of oneness. What about this oneness? I'm one with my feelings. I'm one with my emotions. I'm one with my thoughts. I am one with my desires. I am one with that which thinks me. I am one with, I talked about this yesterday in the film Contact when they came out through her eye and you went, oh, that was all inside of her. I am one with all of this. I think we spend way too much time with this oneness out here. Even us when we treat about, I am one with the trees and the stars and the ocean and the sky. I do that. I love it because it reminds me. But we need to start inverting that. I am one with all thought, all idea, all creativity, all desire. I am one with all of it. That's what Vivekananda is talking about. Are you willing to really drop into oneness and not just make it about what you can get out of life? There, now we go to Buddhism and detachment. I can detach from just wanting to get. My husband's been looking at houses online, and every day I wake up to a new house that he's decided we should buy. They're usually, a couple $1 million, $3 million. One was $5 million. And not that I can't afford that, because I know the truth of who I am. But do I really want to live in a house with 9 bathrooms? I don't like cleaning my own bathroom. Of course, you'd probably have somebody clean them, but do I want people there cleaning those bathrooms all the time? And it was a gorgeous big house, and I look at the things he shows me, and all I can think of is his desire, his where he's coming from is so perfect in nature. And then I take my thought about it, and I'm like, I don't want to live there. So when we talk about oneness and about your ability to create, I don't want to poo-poo everybody from, most people got involved in New Thought because it was I can get anything I want religion. I can just think whatever I want and create, manifest whatever I want. Oh, that's lovely. And I'm certainly no one. I teach CPR, I teach prosperity. I'm certainly not one to start poo-pooing getting a better existence of life. The thing is, we're not going to get a better existence of life until we actually know who we are. And we're not going to know who we are until we drop into it to figure it out from a place of not critical thinking, but from a place of knowing. Deep, 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 deeper knowing. And that means we got to get out of our minds. We have to get out of that stuff out there that we're so drawn to, that ADD of spirituality, shiny, shiny, shiny. We got to get out of there, and we've got to pull it back. So there's two parts. There's the outer oneness and the inner oneness. It is time to combine these two into one thing. True oneness, absolute oneness, means to combine both the inner and the outer, and to realize it is just one thing. Not just one thing, but as Ernest Holm says, one of. So it's like, I'm not one with all this. I am one of all of it, this and this. It's why certain philosophies don't resonate with me. Because if you're going to be a philosophy that teaches me that something's bad, that something in this world of form is bad, or that I am bad, or that there's any part of me that's bad, that doesn't work for me because that's not oneness. And not unless you're willing to embrace all of it and not create sides. So I'm not saying there isn't good in those religions. There is. But it's time to move beyond religion. Oneness is not about religion. The whole song that Heather brought here, oneness is not about religion. Oneness is about understanding that all religions come together at the soul, at the heart of truth, and it is just love, which is oneness. That is what we come to understand when we're willing to drop into it. So I have a story. About a chorus line. So in a chorus line, I talked to you about how the whole idea of that was to get everybody to be the same, to create this one singular sensation. So I was cast in chorus line. It was really it was my biggest job I'd ever gotten. And I was sent out into the first international tour, which meant it had been on Broadway about a year, and then it went out on an international tour. It had just come back from London, and it was in, of all places, Detroit. And so I got hired to fly to Detroit and join the company of a chorus line. I was 23 years old. I was like, oh my God, my big break. And I go and I learn the show, and it's a bit complicated at times to learn the show. Also, you learn the show by yourself. So it's a very interconnected show. So you're learning the show by yourself, and then when you're finally in, they give you what's called a put-in. You go into a put-in, and it's like all of a sudden, oh, there's bodies here. Here's the story. My opening night, I've been in Detroit. I have found a dog. I just told Adam this story. I'd found a dog. I went to a state fair in Detroit. I wasn't looking for a dog. I was on the road. But there was this big box of puppies, and all these people picking them up and playing with them, which is how I found my second dog too, now that I think about it. And this little boy was playing with this dog, and it was like shuddering. And when he put it back, I went over and took it. And it was this gorgeous little white puppy. I didn't know what it was going to turn into. And I took it. I just took it home. Well, home. I took it to the hotel. And then he was allowed to be at the theater with me. But I was in a dressing room with all the males. And so I brought him down to the dressing room to where we were changing and left him in there. And he had his little crate, but he was allowed to roam around. Who knew back then? I really didn't know how to train a dog. So the show's going on, and all of a sudden, it's time for the finale. Now, the finale of a chorus line is very fast. Remember that, Adam? You have to get off stage and into this huge costume like that, like in seconds, and into all of your clothes, and then instantly you're like right out, which was fabulous, because 1 second you're all dressed like this, and the next second you're in sequins, and everybody comes out. So I run off the stage, and I'm getting my costume on, and I can't get my feet into my finale shoes. And then I noticed that none of the guys they're all having trouble, and people are missing their entrances, and it's very organized. If you miss your entrance, because we all then do. Anyway, so I'm like, what the heck? And finally I get them on, but I'm in the wrong place, and people have to it was the worst finale ever. Only to find out that my loving dog, Jeremiah, had peed in everyone's finale shoes. He had gone around the room and just lifted his leg and peed inside all of the shoes. They probably smelled good. And so we didn't know it until somebody went, there's like dog pee in here. Oh my God. It was hard. But what was interesting, I wish I had been in the audience then. I also wish I'd finished one sentence. I wish I'd been in the audience to watch the finale when everybody's coming out and going and pretending they didn't just miss their place. So the reason I tell you this story, this whole concept of oneness, you can try all you want to fit in to an idea of who you are supposed to be. You can try as hard as you want to dress yourself up in the most fabulous sequined costume and join the masses that are all walking this way. But I guarantee you, some point in your life, a dog is going to pee on that idea. And you are going to need to recreate yourself. And what I think it's time for us to do is get rid of all the sequins, all the outer things that we use to prove how great we are, and step into something so pure, so true, so honest, that our individuality starts to shine. I know I'm just going to start crying here. I really wish I could go back, and I wish there was a video of that particular moment in chorus line history. I was fired shortly after that, just to end that story on a keynote. So I have a quote for you from Russell Brand. I thought, why not go to the most individualized, creative, crazy person in the world? He's amazing. He says this: it's difficult to believe in yourself because the idea of self is an artificial construction. You are, in fact, part of the glorious oneness of the universe. Everything beautiful in the world is within you. So, he says the challenge to live as oneness is that we're trying so hard to be the self. And yet, me, myself, who I am as the self, is oneness, is all of it. But I got to do it my way. So I love that quote. When I read it, I was like, oh, I get it. It's remember who you are and come from there. I remember I am God. As God, everything and anything is possible. I can be, do, accomplish, create, and live any way I choose. But I have to remember who I am because that's my power. That's my superpower. My superpower is oneness, is the ability to drop in and live from there. So I have a challenge for you this month. May challenge. You ready? Here's the May challenge. And it's simple. And if you can't do this, and if you can't do this, you got a problem. You got to be able to do this. And first of all, you have to decide to do it and lay the intention down. But it's so easy. It's so simple. These guys, this is not a challenge for them. I'm probably going to have to figure it out for them because they already do this. And Tiffany probably already does this. So the May challenge is to spend 5 minutes a day, just 5 minutes a day, every day, 5 minutes a day, quiet, listening to yourself, to that within, and then take the next 5 minutes to live it, to live from it. So it's not about just going into an Om meditation and going, oh, that was fun, and then going into your day. It's about dropping into oneness. And when I say oneness, I don't mean get quiet for 5 minutes with your mind deciding what you're going to do later, because then you're going to have to add some more time to that. I mean, take 5 minutes, let go of everything, everything. Find how that works for you. Maybe in your garden. It may be in your bed, just sitting up in the morning and deactivating everything that's been going through your mind. 5 minutes. 5 minutes. 5 is an important number to me. So take 5 minutes, empty your mind, drop into that place where you know yourself at such a deep level. Open your eyes, come back to life, and now live from that place for 5 minutes. Even if it's just walking out, speaking to your spouse, making a protein drink, whatever it is, live from it. Now, this is just 5 minutes. I'm not stopping you from moving it up to 10 when it feels better, moving it up to half hour if that feels good, moving it up to an hour, and then living the next 23 hours from that place. How about that? But I'm only asking for 5 minutes. It's the 5th month. 5 is my number. So I'm asking you for 5 minutes every day. Now here's the thing, 30 days creates a neural pathway and starts a new habit. So if you are willing to take those 5 minutes, and I don't mean miss a day. I don't want to hear, oh, I was so busy yesterday, I just had to jump into my day. I know, I get it. I know, I'm like that too. But this month, from today, which is the 3rd, which means we don't finish till June 2nd, 30 days to change the habit in your mind. A habit that keeps derailing you to thinking that this is real. To thinking that this is real in a way that you're being told it's real, as opposed to real in the way you know it's real. 5 minutes. You up to it? You guys do it anyway, right? Okay. So yours is 5 hours. So you good, Adam? You do it in the morning too, but it's the living from it that I'm really interested in. You good with that, Matthew? Yes, good hand. Jim, you good? Okay. Thich Nhat Hanh says, people normally cut reality into compartments and so are unable to see the interdependence of all phenomena. To see one in all and all in one is to break through the greater barrier which narrows one's perception of reality. To see all in one and one in all. So I'm going to ask you this month, try not to compartmentalize your life. Oh, here's how I am with money. Here's how I am, but I'm good with this. I'm not good with this. Oneness means it's all one thing. How you are with money is how you are with love. How you are with love is how you are with creativity. How you are with creativity is how you are with your body. So it's starting to really understand these are all one thing. Okay? I'm going to close with Albert Einstein. He says a person experiences life as something separated from the rest, a kind of optical delusion of consciousness. Our task must be to free ourselves from this self-imposed prison and through compassion find the reality of oneness. Compassion. So I'm going to also ask you this month, be kind to yourself and find the reality of oneness. Let's not just approach oneness as an idea or as an answer to get right on a test. Let's approach oneness as a reality of life, living from that place. Let's get out of our minds, drop into our hearts, get a real sense of who we are, and then move back into our minds to create the most magnificent expression of oneness, to watch how we connect with everyone and everything, to watch how every word out of our mouth ripples the communication of life that reminds us we are all connected at all times. Because in truth, there really is only one singular sensation. Namaste.